Okay, now we're recording. Hey, everybody, it's me. Yes, I have on my headphones because my phone is still not working, but it's okay. Khaleesi Simmons, double diamond international leader, whoop, whoop, all the way from Belgium. And today we're going to be doing another game changer call. And we're going to be interviewing another amazing presidential diamond. I'm going to let her introduce herself, tell us a little bit about her story, and kind of how this business fell into her lap and what she's done with that opportunity. So, shoot.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. My name is Adrienne Sifontes. I am a presidential diamond leader out of Delray Beach, Florida, which is South Florida. For those that aren't familiar, I'm about 30 minutes north of Miami. And I have been in the business for about 4.5 years. Prior to It Works, I was a project manager for a hotel company you may have heard of, Marriott International. I lived in Washington, D.C. I was there for about 18 years, off and on. And I thought that I was going to go to the top of my company and just be in hotels for the rest of my life, right? Like I had this illusion that I was going to go to school, get my degrees, get a good job, and live happily ever after. And the reality is I had a ton of debt. I wasn't fulfilled in my job, and I just started to get tired. Like I needed a new path. And so I always say It Works found me during a time when I was just really under a slump, a mound of debt. And it was just perfect timing for me. I was online. I was looking for a solution for my midsection, saw the wrap. Actually at a medical practice that was giving the wrap, and I tried it and it works. And that's really how my journey started. I did not see the product on social media, Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. It wasn't introduced by a friend. I was literally a customer of a business distributor, and the product worked. It was amazing. And so I said, well, I can be a distributor or a consumer, and I decided to be a distributor. And so that's really how my story started with It Works Local.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so for you, let's just talk a little bit about how you've moved forward in the company. Just starting out as a distributor, did you go presidential diamond in 2 weeks? Did it take you a little while to get started? Did all of your friends and family join you in the very beginning, or did you kind of have a tough time getting started? Tell us a little bit about maybe some of the hardships that you had in the beginning, or even the major successes that you found in the beginning.
Okay, yeah. So I was super excited. I like to tell people I had ignorance on fire when I first started. I didn't research a whole lot. I don't really think about things and calculate them too much. I'm very spontaneous. And so I joined the business with just an expectation of earning an extra $1,000 a month. I was telling everybody, my friends, my family, and, I had a lot of friends that supported me in the beginning, especially for like my first wrap party. I think my first wrap party, I had 6 people. 3 of them became distributors and the other 3 became loyal customers. And so my first 3 months in the business, I did well. I recruited probably about 12 people in my first 45 days in the business. I promoted, some worked, some didn't. And I really didn't know what I was doing, to be honest with you. Right? Like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just talking to people. I was sharing the business and I was passionate. Right. But there did come a time probably in that 3rd month where I just started to like lose momentum because it was either, my business partners that I had enrolled weren't really moving. They weren't really as passionate about the business as I was. And there was just a lot of kind of like mockery. Like, you can't be serious with this rap business, right? You have your MBA. Like, you can't be serious. Like, are you serious? Are you really doing this business? And so that really discouraged me. And so I kind of laid off for the rest of that year. I started the business in August. And so probably by like November into November, I kind of like chilled. I remember I had a girlfriend that called me like, hey, I want to do a wrap party over the holidays. And I was like, okay, girl, I'll get back to you about a date. Never got back to her. I was just kind of like chilling. But during that time when I was on the move, I enrolled Ronnie Brown. And so Ronnie was obviously is one of my superstar distributors. And, when we first started the business, we didn't really know what was going on. We didn't really know what we had in our hands. We just worked. And so I remember I went to Ronnie's house in January of 2013. And we weren't even talking about It Works business. And she had just gotten back from conference. And she said, girl, this business, and she just went diamond. She said, this business is real. She was like, the people in the company are really making money. Like, what are you doing? You got to get back in this business. You enrolled me. And so it was really kind of like in that moment where I knew that I needed something, like I needed a solution. And I didn't realize that I had it in my hands the whole time. And so in January of 2013, I just decided to work. I dug in. I reached out to my business partners that were kind of just coasting, and I said, listen, we're really going to work this business out. Like, I have a huge vision for what we're about to do, and I want you to be a part of it. Let me know if you're in or you're out. Some stayed, some didn't. But from January to May, we went from Ruby to Presidential Diamond.
Golly.
Like 4 months once we decided to, get it done. And so I say that to say, no, I wasn't, I didn't go Presidential Diamond in 4 weeks. And I did have some discouragement, and there were some ups and downs in the beginning, but I think it was all in my mind, No,
that's real.
I had a pretty good jump start, and I allowed people to discourage me. I allowed the naysayers to get to me. I looked to the left and the right, and I wasn't focused on my business, and I didn't have a clear vision of what this business could do for my life. So once I figured out, man, this is a game changer. We can impact so many people in this business, and this is the vision. Everything changed for my business and my business partners. And so that's what happened.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay. So just really quick, before we, I'm going to let a few people ask some questions, but before we ask some questions, tell us what does your day look like? And I guess, what would you consider being intentional with your time? I know I teach this all the time. You guys got to be intentional with your time. What would you say is intentional with your time? What is this? How do you work your business into your day?
So this is my full-time business. And I think a lot of people sometimes in network marketing, we say, oh, we want to be retired. We want to be rewired, but you're not retired. This is, you're working, you are growing the business, you're growing an empire. So I'm very intentional with my time in a few ways. The first is I don't, as I did in the beginning, I don't surf social media throughout the day. So I have times where I post, and I also should say that my posts are already done. So I create posts on Sundays. All of my content I typically do on Sundays, even my videos, like the ideas for the videos, outline, I do all of that on Sunday. And so my posts, I don't have them scheduled. Like on Post Planner, I don't like the way that Post Planner kind of like posts. For me, I don't schedule them, but in my calendar, they're scheduled. So I'll go on and I'll say, okay, I'm going to post this at 9:30. This is my post. I already have my pictures pre-done. So I'm very intentional about what I post and how I post. My calendar is full every day, right? And so I am constantly friending people, expanding my network. So 25 new people every day on Facebook, and then really as many as I can follow on Instagram. And so from those contacts that I'm doing on a daily basis, you know, you're sowing those seeds. And so I always have somebody to talk to, and I always have somebody to put into my schedule for the next day. So I make sure I'm filling my schedule up. I make sure that I have at least 10 calls per day, you know, new prospecting calls. So I'm talking to either new businesses about setting up, you know, a vendor table or new customers. And then I schedule time with my team, right? Because I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made earlier in my business was spending more time, and I'll probably say, you know, 70% working with my team and 30% working on my business. And you always have to be conscious about working your own business, because coaching your team is not an income producing activity. And so I have golden hours between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. My business partners know, unless they're scheduling three-way calls, because the only way working with your team is going to be an income producing activity is if there's a prospect on the other end. So that's really the only reason I'll take a call, except for month end when we're like, you know, charting for But, you know, if there's not a prospect on the other call, I'll talk to you after 4 p.m. because I'm working my business and you should be doing those same activities. And so I'm intentional in that way as well, because I used to be all over the place, taking calls here, you know, doing prospecting calls here, and nothing would get done, you know, getting on Facebook, scrolling. So I have to be conscious about putting my phone down, or when I'm messaging people on Facebook, I'm not going to the homepage and then scrolling to see what's going on. You know, I have to do the catch up at night or the next day. We're also really intentional even now with like systems and how we do three-ways. And so we do a lot of three-way group chats on Facebook. And I find that when you're using, you know, obviously the audio message, you have that personal touch that, it's not as intimidating for prospects. They like to hear the voice, and we're able to edify each other and really talk about the business in a way where they don't necessarily have to get on a three-way call. In the beginning, we sometimes close them in the three-way group chat, but that at least increases their interest. So they're like, you know, we used to find a lot of times, let's schedule a three-way call. And then you call a prospect and they're like, not available, you know? And so the three-way group chats have definitely helped make that more effective. But my whole day is intentional because it has to be. I build my business primarily online now. I love being belly to belly. I built my business through rap parties, you know, in the beginning, but I've also embraced the internet and social media and the powerful tool that it is, because it's such a huge catalyst for us to be able to connect with billions of people across the globe. And so just being able to kind of like use these tools and meet people from around the country has been amazing. And so it's not that I don't want to be belly to belly, but I really have a lot of stuff to do, you know, that I generate online. And I do try to be intentional and go outside of the house and like work from other locations, you know, since I am full-time from home. So like, even if it's just going to Starbucks or a coffee house or something, it gets me out. And I can talk to people, you know, you'll have your Blitz cards and stuff on the table and people say, well, it works. And so that's a good way to kind of like break up the monotony, but that's pretty much what I do all day.
No, that's good. That's perfect. I like the three-way. Matter of fact, you just gave me like an epiphany. My light bulb just went off with this three-way thing. So, okay. So just really quick, we got about 15 minutes, I guess. I wanted to get you guys the opportunity to ask those tough questions and have a different perspective as well. So I'll start with Shy because she's the first person on my screen.
Hello,
Hey.
everybody. Adrienne.
Hi.
Okay, hey. You said something about the three-way chat calls. Are those three ways with new prospects, like the for new business partners? That's the only way we do three-way calls?
Yeah, three-way group chats with new business partners or with potential customers as well.
Okay.
So that's really a great idea, Shy. I actually think I'm going to start, I'm going to do a 3 days of three ways, right? And then that'll kind of give us a jump start going into May. And everybody could have lined up some potential distributors, and we'll just start doing these three-way chats. It's a really good idea. I've done a couple with some people, but I haven't made it a thing, and I think that's a really good idea. And then two, we can get Crystal and maybe some other leaders in on those three-way chats, so we can kind of disperse some of the tasks. Okay, so Jocelyn, I'm going to go to Jocelyn really quick too. Jocelyn, do you have any presidential diamond worthy questions? Maybe something that you want to find out that, you know, maybe you've either struggled with, or something that you want as a tip to build your business?
Yeah. When it comes to maybe like rap parties, do you have those often? And when you do, how do you go about getting others to host a rap party for you?
That's a good question. So I don't do as many rap parties now as I did in the beginning. I won't lie to you. But I do try to have at least 2 per month. And so from those rap parties, obviously you're going to want to do, you know, giveaways. If you schedule a party today, you know, I will wrap you for free, or I'll do a free gift like a cleanse if I have, you know, extra products. But those are always good opportunities. I have and I wish I did do more rap parties because I have a high closing rate at rap parties. Right. I enroll a lot of distributors and customers there. It's either one or the other for me. But it's kind of like when you're building online, I guess it goes with the territory. So I'm not out and about as much in the community, and we just moved to Florida a couple of years ago, but we do a lot of online rap parties, and those have been really effective for my team and myself, especially new business partners, because we'll do an online rap party that will allow our new business partners to get their prospects on like within their first 48 hours. And so they, you know, we don't have to wait for I don't have my kit. You don't need your kit to start, right? And we can help them close loyal customers right from the jump. So they're able to get fast start qualified within 48 to 72 hours. So we found that that's been helpful for everybody, because those 400 boxes get closed up a lot sooner. People get their first customers, and they get, you know, that confidence, and they're excited, like, I got loyals. And, you know, by the time the kit comes, the goal is for them to already have 4 customers, and then to just have their party so they can go face to face and belly to belly. So just a little bit about rap parties. That's what we do.
Okay, thank you.
Christine, you got a question?
I do. Okay. So with, excuse me, my allergies. With everything as far as like following up with leads and managing leads, how, especially with building on social media, like how do you organize it? Because I'm a little bit green, and especially with like all of my followers on Instagram, I mean, I'm mostly blue. I think that's probably my problem. So, I'm not green enough. But like, especially with all my followers on Instagram, it's super difficult to try to like keep up, especially with the DMs and like, you know, trying to get them over to Facebook, things like that. But like, how do you manage that?
So I'm always asking for a time to follow up. And if I don't have a time to follow up, I follow up every 2 weeks, like with people. So I'm usually getting a time to follow up. And right when I get that time, I immediately just put in my schedule. I'm not that green. So I don't have these Excel spreadsheets and things that some of these other leaders do. Like, I put it in my calendar, in my iPhone, and I keep it moving. But I also have an organizer, because I like to write things down. So I have like a follow-up list. And it's like, you know, just like you would with your rolling 100s list, but it's like my rolling follow-up list. And so if it's a prospect, they do go on my 100s list, and then I have a follow-up date for them that I write by. But I put everything in my calendar, because if it syncs in Apple, it's everywhere, and it happens. And I go to my schedule, you know, like I always have something scheduled. I go to my schedule, follow up with such and such. I'll put, if it's an Instagram, I'll put, you know, at Adrienne from IG, follow up, go back to that DM. But that's how I track my stuff. So it's not that sophisticated, but it works for me.
Yeah.
No, that's really good.
Thanks.
I think the last person on there is, who's that? Who's calling from the phone? Sierra? Hello?
Excuse me, guys.
Okay.
I'm like getting over this like 10-day cold.
No, you're good. Okay, so I'll ask my question because I can't figure out who that last person was. And I saw Crystal was coming in and out. Somebody just messaged me and said they had to go to the emergency room. So I'm going to say a little prayer for them. But one of my questions is, how do you handle the angry skeptic? Because I know I get this a lot from some of my team and my partners, and they're like, golly, and you can even see it on some people's posts, like their Facebook followers are angry skeptics. How do you handle skeptics, even if you were just out at the Starbucks and you were like, with your stuff on the table and someone's like, oh, I've seen that, it doesn't work. What is some great ways that you come back, or some things that you know that help you get through the skepticism of either family, friends, strangers, or whoever it may be?
That's a good question. So probably 3 years ago, skeptics would have bothered me. They don't any longer.
No, they don't. Not with
in
that.
the Millionaires Club in a business,
Right.
you see that no one can really be skeptical with you. So if it's social media, I block and delete. I don't deal with skeptics because I don't have time to convince people. I think that skeptics will keep asking questions to talk themselves out of doing or buying. And there's no point in me going back and forth with you. Sometimes I'll ask, there's always going to be people that, whether it's a product, a ketosis diet, and they only did it for 5 days, a product that they only used 2 days, the wraps that they only did one of, did you use it properly? But if they're skeptical, they're skeptical. There's too many people that love our product, that want to try our product, and that don't even know about our product yet for me to deal with going back and forth with skeptics. So I don't.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay, so Shai, did you have another question we got about?
I just wanted to comment on that. I just believe it's probably based off of how much patience you have for skeptics, because the business that I did door-to-door marketing before. So if you can only imagine how many jokers we run across. So it's now easy to identify what kind of customer that is within the first 20 seconds of having a conversation with them. So
yeah. I feel like when when you're a product user, it's so important for you for us as leaders to be creating raving customers within our team. That's the best way for you to build your organization, to have raving customers as distributors, because when that happens, a couple things happen. You build confidence, right? And if you have confidence because you've gotten results, no one can tell you that your products don't work. Nobody can tell you that you didn't get results. You didn't lose weight. Your blood pressure didn't lower. They can't tell you that. They can't tell you that them stretch marks didn't go away. And so the best way for you to deal with skeptics is really to become a product user and have your own personal testimony. Because then when people talk, like I said, it's kind of like this arrogance, like, oh, that's cute. I'm sorry it didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me the business doesn't work because I live it. And you can't tell me the products don't work because I live it, So skeptics don't really bother me, and I really don't waste too much time with them.
No, that's good. Perfect. Jocelyn, did you have another question?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Can I say something?
She's trying to get home safe or somewhere.
What did you say? Is somebody else saying something?
Yeah,
I can't really.
It's me. It's Shy. Hi.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I noticed, Adrienne. Okay. I noticed that you said 10 to 4, you do your business, and you set up some type of schedule. Is it works the only thing you do, or do you it works within that 10 to 4 span?
Yeah, it's primarily all I do. We invest in real estate, but it doesn't take up time like It Works does. This is like my primary baby. So yeah. And the rest of the time I just live.
I'm saying because a lot of the stuff I have other businesses going on, and a lot of the times when I'm surprised I was able to make this Zoom. Thank you, Kalisha, for sending it to me.
Okay.
But it's kind of like everything is in the morning time. I have a Zoom here, and then I'll have like another conference call during the times, and then it works. I love it. It's my it's not my primary source of income, but it's the best business that I'm doing right now, and that's why I'm not letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the time, like how do you? It's just like how do you
juggle?
And even like when you get your family calling you while you're trying to do work, and it's like you don't want to be rude, and it's just like, all right, well, I got to finish this up, so I'm gonna have to talk to you later. So how do you kind of balance that?
You got to set boundaries. I think managing businesses, whether it's just it works or you have a few things going on, you have to set boundaries. I wasn't good at it in the beginning at all. Like I really just started getting good with organizing my schedule in the past couple of years because I was all over the place, but I also found that I wasn't that productive, so even simple things such as I do power hours. So like in an hour, I might do 6 10-minute tasks, right? So it might message for 10 minutes, message people for 10 minutes, or go on Facebook and say, happy birthday, happy anniversary, whatever, go to your events and engage with people for 10 minutes, things like that. So I do power hours. And after an hour, I'll give myself maybe 30 minutes to do other stuff. Because I think like, even when I was in corporate America, I didn't work for like 8, 9, 10 hours straight. Like I wasted so much time in the office. I probably walked around the office, got coffee. I was probably at the water cooler for like 2 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like, I wasted a lot of time. So you got to think nobody is literally sitting in front of their computer doing 10 hours of work. Like they don't. So I do my power hours, and then I may take 30 minutes and call my sister or whatever. But I think also with family, you got to let them know, like, okay, so from 10 to 12, I'm going to be in a meeting. Your calls could be a meeting. You have to schedule it, just like the gym.
Right.
And let them know that, I can contact you after 12 unless it's an emergency. So those are just kind of like boundaries that you have to set with your family. And then life just happens, business happens. So it doesn't always go as planned. I'm not going to lie. Like, does my day always go as planned? Absolutely not.
Right.
But I try to have, that skeleton schedule. So right. I have something to go by. And if something doesn't get done, it just gets moved to the top of the task list for the next day.
Okay. So do you actually, I've heard of the quote, a man who fails to plan plans to fail. Do you write your plans down before you start your day or week?
Before I start my week.
Okay.
So I do everything, I call it Sunday. So like if you were to look at my social media page, I don't go black, but I don't post a lot on Sundays because I take that time to just plan my whole week, whether it's videos. I'm going to do a video on Monday and Friday. This is what it's going to be about. My pictures for my posts, who I need to follow up with, what appointments I'm going to call or businesses I'm going to call Monday through Friday, who I need to do Zooms with because they're about to go diamond or ruby or whatever. And I also do power hours with my team. So we'll get on and just do straight hours of work together, but like on Zoom. So we'll have music and we just work. I have like tasks set up and I'll say, okay, time's up, next task. And we'll move just to make sure that, because I
love it.
Don't work this business full time. And so sometimes people need direction. So when you come home, at 8 p.m. we're doing a power hour work session.
Right.
And that's what we do together. So I'll plan those, like what are the tasks going to be, and things like that. But I do that mostly on Sunday. And then, like I said, during the week, things will come up, like somebody will say something about a prospect. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to call. Okay. So those end up on your list too. But there's really no science to it. I just try to be as organized as I can. And I have ADD, so it's really tough. Like,
oh, gosh. Well, you're doing a good job.
Well, Adrienne, we won't keep you any longer. I know you got other things on your schedule, and I don't want to interfere. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to everyone. We got some leaders on here that are up for some promotions, and we're really, really excited. So we're gonna let them get back to work.
Yeah, I'm rooting for y'all. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And everybody go and follow her. I'm going to screenshot her page just in case you don't know where to find it. And then go follow her and kind of be a fan for the next couple of days. All right. And I will talk to you guys later.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.